everyone, this is just a short video to talk about Turnitin and when you actually come to submit your summative pieces of coursework, what to look for in terms of similarity, how to check your similarity scores, and just any questions that you, hopefully this will answer any questions that you might have around plagiarism and similarity. So it might be the first time that you're actually using Turnitin, and when you actually come to submit your piece of coursework, you firstly need to go to the assessment tab on the module pages, and it will bring up a list of the submission folders, the submission points for the appropriate piece of coursework. So some modules obviously have more than one piece of coursework, so find the appropriate folder. So it might be coursework 1 or coursework 2, or it might be that actually you have an EEC that's been authorised, so there'll be a separate folder for that. It could be that you have a 7-day extension and so on. So always find the appropriate folder first of all. This is just an example, and your screen might look slightly different to mine because mine's a tutor screen, but hopefully it won't look too different. So when you find the appropriate folder, you go to it and you click View and Complete. And what it does is it brings up a page like this, and you will be asked to include, to put in your name and give your piece of work a title. The good thing is that you can actually directly upload this from your computer or from Dropbox if you use that, or if you use Google Drive, so that's really nice, so you can upload them directly. Once you've picked your file, click upload, and it will take a little bit of time to actually upload this. You'll probably have another box that you have to actually click to confirm that it's the correct file that you're uploading, and then you are good to go. So what Turnitin is basically is a piece of software that is used across most universities within the UK and actually across the world. So most teaching institutions use this, and what it does is actually compares your work to that of millions of other pieces of work that have been uploaded, and it also compares your work to resources on the internet, web pages, journals, books, and so on. So it is checking that actually the work that you're submitting is your own work, and that you've actually put the work into your own words, i.e. paraphrased. You haven't directly sort of taken bits of, or copied and pasted bits of information and put them directly into your essay, because obviously that wouldn't demonstrate your own understanding. So it's important that we see that, and actually we can check that when we come to mark your work. A lot of the time we're not checking plagiarism as such, it's quite a strong word, but what we are checking is your skills in writing and actually being able to take work and put it into your own words. We're also checking that you've referenced correctly, so you haven't tried to take any piece of information and pass them off as your own, that you have actually included appropriate references. We also, I talk about it in a separate video on paraphrasing and quotations, but actually try to avoid using quotes in that way, because obviously they will be found to be similar if you're actually directly quoting from pieces of work. So we'll come on to actually what a similarity score looks like, and actually are there any particular sort of magic numbers within this to actually look at what is a high percentage score and what is a problematic percentage score, and actually what is probably more likely to be a normal percentage. It's never going to come up as 0, okay, because obviously there are common phrases that we will be using that the Turnitin software will be finding, which is fine. So if we just actually go to look at what I would see as from a tutor's perspective once you've submitted your work. Oh yeah, and a point to make is actually that you're able to do this ahead of the deadline for your actual assessment, so that you yourself can check. So it's not just about me checking as a tutor, but you yourself can do this unlimited number of times as long as it's before the deadline. And that's a good reason, another good reason why, to give yourself a good couple of days to do this and actually check your similarity percentage ahead of the actual finally submitted version. And as I say, there's no limit. And actually you can look at your percentage score and then think, actually, I want to bring that down a little bit, or there's perhaps sections I could paraphrase slightly better, there may be different words I could use. Or you might look at it and go, you know what, actually it's absolutely fine. The only thing it's finding is sort of the reference list and a few key phrases here and there, but there aren't any chunks that actually look like they've been copied and pasted directly. So actually it gives you the reassurance to actually just submit it and sort of that's your final version. Okay, so when you come to look at this yourself, you will see, similar to I can here, that we have I've done this quite a lot of times, obviously, so these are all examples that I've kind of submitted over the years, but you'll see that, you know, your name is down the left hand side, your title, and then here's what we're interested in here is the similarity percentage, and you can see it's a traffic light system. So green is usually green for good, green for go. Amber, there may be something that we need to look at. Red is obviously where there may be kind of potential serious issues with plagiarism. But again, don't panic when you see that first of all. It could be that something's got wrong. It could be that you submitted the wrong file completely, and actually it's a blank document with your name on the top, and that's 100% similar to something you've submitted before. So actually always just, you know, it's a good way of checking it at this stage. So we see here various, you know, percentage scores, and I'm going to look at one that is amber that's got 33% for an example, to show you the kind of things that we would see and what you might see when you look at your own piece of work. So this is the viewer. You will see here, obviously this is the original piece of work that's been submitted. We have an overall percentage of 33%, which sounds quite high initially, but there may be perhaps reasons why that is high, and again we'll come to this in a second. It could be that your reference list actually is mostly being picked up rather than actually the body of your essay or your report. So we'll look at that in a second, but overall we can see that this resource here has been sort of similar for 11%, but mostly it's kind of tiny, maybe common phrases from these pieces of work here, and there are actually sort of 25 resources it's found, and some of them are less than 1%, so that would not be an issue at all. And again, it could just be kind of similar phrases and so on. So let's just have a look at what this person has submitted. So got a quote there, it's actually finding, which has been referenced, so that's the reason why that sort of is being found, which is fine. So we can see spots of, you know, this is the colour indicates where it's actually been found to be similar to another piece of work. So we've got sporadic similarity sort of bits that have been found to be similar here, which isn't really problematic. Again, it's just maybe perhaps could have been better paraphrased in some ways, but we're not seeing huge chunks of text. This, yeah, again, it's like finding quite a few words in a row that could have been reorganised better or sort of reworded better, but it's been referenced, so that's too problematic, to be honest. This section we might comment on actually as being, you know, a whole paragraph that looks quite similar to another piece of work. Wouldn't necessarily call this plagiarism, but I would say actually you need better skills in terms of actually writing this out in your own words. Obviously we can see that the person's sort of taken out a few words here and there and replaced words, but the overall structure of the sentence is, the paragraph is quite similar still to the original, so we would just give a little bit of advice on that, on paraphrasing. What I do want to show you, so this piece of work, largely there's no issues with this. The only issue really would be where we see sort of huge blocks of text literally just copied and pasted with no attempt to paraphrase, to actually, you know, replace words, to put in your own words. That is where we would highlight. And you know, if it's a first offence, you know, if it's literally the first time you coming to sort of an academic piece of work and actually you just need to sort of develop some skills on paraphrasing, that will be sort of highlighted to you. It's only where it's kind of seen to be intentional plagiarism, and actually where we see it happening over a number of times, where we will start to question it, and actually it will be a suspected academic offence at that stage. So if we're just going to take you down to the reference list at the end, you will see what I mean. Here we go. So here the reference list is literally being picked up word for word. So you can see that because this reference and this reference here and this one, they've been used in other pieces of work, they're actually being found to be completely the same. So this is what it looks like when actually there's no attempt to reword anything, and it literally comes up as a big chunk. References, as I say, not problematic because it's been referenced elsewhere in APA format exactly the same, so it's just picking that up. So hopefully that's been useful. It's just, hopefully explain what Turnitin is, what the tutor sees from our end, what we deem as actual plagiarism, and where we can actually perhaps suggest to students where they can improve their writing skills. Where you could see yourself, it's been useful to actually check yourself ahead of submitting your final piece of work. And as I say, there's no limit. You can continue to do this up until the deadline. We don't actually see how many times you've submitted it and changed it and so on. We only see the final version, the final submitted version, and that percentage score. So hopefully you'll understand a little bit around the different traffic light system now as well. So yeah, do use it. Do use it as a tool in your to help you with your writing style, and to hopefully get you to improve your writing style over the course of your work, of your studies, you'll be able to use this throughout your studies, and nothing's hidden from you. You can always check this ahead of time. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when actually a tutor does maybe perhaps sort of talk to you about it and suggest that actually you've got quite a high similarity score here. So hopefully that's helped.